Today we're going to take what we've learned about one variable data and move it into two variable data. An example of the one variable data would be the dot plot that you just did. You notice when you have a dot plot, your x-axis is simply whatever category you've decided for your variable. For example, here we're doing number of students in the class. And then the y-axis is the frequency of that variable. What if instead of just the number of students in each class, we talked about the number of boys and girls in each class? Let me erase this here. Here we have a table that instead of just giving us the population of students in each class, gives us the number of boys and the number of girls in each class. Notice how we have not just one variable, but two. Just as with your coordinate planes, you're going to label one variable as an x and the other variable as the y. I chose to put boys as x and girls as y. It doesn't really matter for this example. But as you might guess later on, your x will be your independent variable and your y will be your dependent variable. Just as with graphing equations and the coordinate plane that I'm sure you've learned so far. Now, a scatter plot uses the coordinate plane and just the first quadrant for this example because we only have positive numbers. So I would have the boys as the x-axis and the girls as the y-axis. Each class, pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they're all their own ordered pair. So for the pre-K, my x variable would be 8, and my y variable would be 6. So I'd have the ordered pair 8, 6. In order to make a scatter plot, I go down to that coordinate plane that I've drawn, and I plot the point. 8, 6. A little dot there. You can put an X, you can put whatever type of symbol you want. There's my first point. And I do the same thing for each grade. So kindergarten would be 9, 3. And I'd go over to 9, 3, and I'd put a little dot. And then first grade would be 7, 8, and so on. Go there. Second grade would be 5, 8. That would go here. Third grade would be 8, 8. So that would go right here. Fourth grade is 5, 7. So that would go right here. Fifth grade is 9, 7. So we're over here. 10, 6, 8, 5, and 7, 6. I now have a scatter plot of the gender breakdown in my school, all the way from pre-K to 8. My x-axis shows the number of boys, and the y-axis shows the number of girls. So you can see this class right here in the blue, which was kindergarten, has significantly more boys than girls. It's very far along on the x-axis and not as far on the y. This example right here, 8, 5, which would be second grade, has significantly more girls than boys, because there are 8 girls and only 5 boys. Obviously this is a very simple example of a scatter plot, and it'll get more complex as we go forward, but this is how you construct your own scatter plot. It's very easy. One thing to remember, do not connect the dots. Okay? This is not your first grade drawing exercise. This is a scatter plot for important statistical data, so make sure not to connect the dots.